I'm sorry, we were talking about YouTube.
We were. Oh, so I was saying, I think it's been on a slow build for about 10 years, and I think that uh, the what's happened is that the companies that were successful at building a subscriber base, and one of our filmmakers is someone who's very successful on their YouTube channel. His name is Al Prophet,
Mm,
and he has specialty content. It is urban, a lot of it, and it is about crime and true crime. And he does docs and interviews. He interviews some of the most fascinating people you'll ever listen to.
his
Right?
channel is incredible.
His channel is great. And he now makes has a very successful, financially successful channel.
Mm,
And so he slowly, built that. It took him years and years to build that up. But he's over 1 million subscribers now. And once you get over 1 million, and it's hard, and we'll talk about how hard a YouTube channel is and why you may not, want to try and do it yourself. It took him many years to get that, but once you get over 1 million, um, Google really gets behind you, and
right.
they really give you a lot of benefits and tools that you don't have if you're just an individual filmmaker doing it. I know your YouTube channel, you're still in the growing stage, you know,
Totally.
and so as are we. I mean, we just crossed 50,000 subscribers on our own on our own Indie Rights channel.
Hmm.
So that was a big deal to us, and it's
That's
taken us a while
great.
there. But we are learning so much about how we can make that grow a lot faster. But so back to your question of, about it, what's happened now is some of those channels got so successful that they had millions of channels. And so uh, Google gave them a special status and made them enter what are called enterprise level partners.
Mm,
And they have content ID tools that allow them to manage a lot more effectively the claims that plague us smaller channels. So when you try to put up content that's not doesn't really work for advertisers, or it's got music conflicts, a lot of the music claims that come through are totally bogus, but you still have to deal with them. But these larger channels that are called MCNs or multi-channel networks, they have special tools given to them by Google to help them deal with that. So that's allowed them to grow even bigger and bigger. So I mean, there are now channels out there with 20 to 50 million subscribers, and that's rapidly approaching the premium channels. Okay, so now all of a sudden, you have like Movie Central.
yep.
Uh, if you go to Movie Central and look at their channels, they have millions and millions of subscribers, and so they right now they're the size of Tubi, but before Fox bought Tubi, because Fox, and we'll talk about the studios and what's happened with that part of the industry too,
Yeah.
a little bit, but right now while we're on YouTube, those someone like Movie Central was smart enough to break their content up into very specific segments. So they have a kids and family channel, they have a horror channel, they have a doc channel. Now, what this does is that there's so many benefits to that. They can actually target a very specific audience and build up, subscribers for that particular type of content. For example, like parents, um, like the family, faith and family, or kids channels, because they can let their kids watch those channels and they don't have to worry about it. They don't have to worry. I mean, I don't have to tell you, there's some really crazy stuff on YouTube that parents don't want their kids watching, right? So they've so they've developed, by having these very specific channels, they can cater to very specific audiences, and that's something that I think uh, has never really been available on regular television or cable, to be able to really, really, be that specific. And so we have partnered with several of these MCNs. And the thing that's good about the MCNs is that you don't have to pick just one. You can have multiple channels that you put the same content on. Now you can't do that on your own YouTube channel.
Right.
Right.
Yes, I was going to get to that question. So,
And
how
that's
do filmmakers now, say you have one or two films, how do they take advantage of this new like
well,
YouTube thing?
well the easiest way is to sign with a distributor like us,
Of course.
because because we have partnerships with them. And of course those huge MCNs, they don't want to deal with individual filmmakers. But one, because they can be very difficult, which I know from personal experience, and I'm sure you do too.
Yep.
So, they leave that to us to curate and deal with the filmmakers. And so they want to have partnership agreements with distributors or sales agents, probably too.
Yeah, because it comes down to it's kind of like the relationships with platforms. Like a lot of people say, hey, why can't I go direct to Tubi? Well, because Tubi is dealing with hundreds of thousands of projects, and they want a distributor, or if they're going to deal with a producer, it's going to be a producer with a very large library of films.
Yeah.
Like they're usually not going to want to deal with one or two films individually.
No.
I'm not saying they won't, that some don't slip through, but for the most part, they don't want to.
Right. Yeah. Occasionally they'll sign one if somebody comes to them and they've got 20 million Instagram followers. You bet they're going to talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, I had a movie that did very well on one of these is it MCN? Is that
MCN, multi-channel?
Thank you. That was doing very well with one of them, and because of that title, and because they had specifically asked for that title, they talked to me,
Yeah.
and would be willing to take content directly from me. But it's only because of because of a past movie performing for them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry. And now the thing the reason why the potential is so huge there on YouTube is that they're global. They are in every country. So it's, the premium streaming platforms are way behind. I mean, with the exception of Netflix. Netflix has pretty broad reach, but they're not everywhere. Right. Amazon has, I don't know, 120 territories, but Tubi is literally everywhere, all over the planet. So, I mean, YouTube, excuse me. So,
Right.
So they have the potential to just become this behemoth and outpace everyone.